Hi, I'm Alea. For as long as I can remember, my life has revolved around not upsetting my younger sister, Kayla. My parents always said she was sensitive and needed special consideration. But what that really meant was that her tantrums dictated our family's entire existence. Alea, honey, can we talk for a minute? My mom leaned against my bedroom doorframe 3 days before my 18th birthday, her expression already telling me what was coming. Let me guess. Something about my birthday? I closed my textbook, already feeling the familiar weight of disappointment settling in my chest. Well, yes. You know we reserved that private room at Bellini's for Saturday, but... She twisted her wedding ring, her nervous tell. But Kayla has a problem with it, I finished flatly. She's very upset about her math test grades, sweetie. She says she can't handle a big celebration right now. You know how she gets? Mom, we've been planning this for months. I invited everyone. Grandma is flying in from Phoenix. Dad appeared behind her, arms crossed. Your sister is really struggling right now, Alaya. We need to be understanding. Understanding? Like when you canceled my 16th birthday because Kayla didn't get invited to Mackenzie's party? Or my choir recital because she had a fight with her friend? That's not fair, Mom said, her voice hardening. Your sister processes emotions differently. And what about how I process them? This is my 18th birthday. My only 18th birthday. Dad sighed heavily. We'll still do cake at home. But Bellini's is off. We already called them. You canceled it before even talking to me? My voice cracked. Don't make this harder than it needs to be, Mom said. Family means supporting each other. Apparently it means supporting Kayla while I get nothing. That attitude isn't helping, Dad snapped. We're doing our best here. Your best sucks. The words escaped before I could stop them. Mom gasped. That's enough. Maybe this is for the best if you're going to be ungrateful. They left, closing my door with a definitive click. I sat motionless, staring at the birthday dress hanging on my closet door. My phone buzzed. My best friend, Tori. Please tell me your mom didn't just call my mom to cancel your birthday, her text read. I called her immediately. It happened again, I said when she answered. No way. What was it this time? Kayla's upset about a math test? A math test? Are you kidding me? Tori's outrage was comforting in its familiarity. That's it. We're doing something ourselves. They can't keep doing this to you. It doesn't matter. I've made a decision. I lowered my voice, though my parents were downstairs. I'm moving out, the second I turn 18. Whoa, for real? Where would you go? My Aunt Claire asked if I wanted to stay with her while attending community college. She doesn't know about all this yet, but she's always saying her place is too empty since Uncle Rob travels so much. And you wouldn't tell your parents until I'm gone. For the first time that day, I felt a sense of control. My birthday is on Wednesday. I'll pack slowly, a little each day. Wednesday morning, while they're at work and Kayla's at school, I'll leave. Wow. Are you sure? What's the alternative? Stay and keep getting pushed aside for Kayla's drama? I'm done. This birthday was the last straw. What if they try to stop you? They can't. I'll be 18, legally an adult. Holy crap, Tori breathed. This is really happening. It is, I said, resolution solidifying into certainty. And the best part? They won't see it coming at all. The next morning at school, I found Tori waiting at my locker, alongside our friend Marcus. I filled him in, Tori said, her eyes darting around to make sure no one was listening. Hope that's okay. You're seriously moving out over a birthday party? Marcus asked, adjusting his glasses. It's not about the party, I explained, gathering my books. It's about 18 years of being treated like I don't matter. Have you talked to your Aunt Claire yet? Tori asked. I'm calling her after school. I'm nervous, though. What if she says no? Marcus leaned against the lockers. Then we move to Plan B. My mom has that finished basement no one uses. You'd let me stay there? I asked, surprised. Of course. We've been friends since 4th grade. My parents love you. Thanks, Marcus. I squeezed his arm gratefully. During lunch, we huddled in our usual corner of the cafeteria, keeping our voices low. We need to be strategic about this, Marcus said, ever the planner. What about your stuff? You can't take everything at once. I'm only taking what matters. Clothes, personal items, important documents. The rest can stay. What about your car? Tori asked. It's in your parents' name, right? Yeah, that's the one problem. But Aunt Claire lives on the bus line to campus and she's only 20 minutes from here. What do you think they'll do when they find out? Marcus asked, picking at his sandwich. Freak out, probably. Mom will cry, Dad will get angry, and Kayla will somehow make it about herself. And you're okay with that? Tori's voice held concern. I'm not doing this to hurt them. I'm doing it because I need to start living my own life. Have they always been like this? Marcus asked. As long as I can remember. When we were little, it wasn't so bad. But after Kayla's anxiety diagnosis in 6th grade, everything changed. Suddenly, every decision had to account for her feelings first. That doesn't seem fair to you, Marcus pointed out. It's not. But whenever I say anything, I'm being insensitive to her struggles. Meanwhile, no one cares about my struggles. After school, I called Aunt Claire from Tori's car in the school parking lot. Alaya, what a nice surprise, she answered warmly. Hi, Aunt Claire. I need to ask you something important. Of course, sweetheart. What's going on? Remember how you mentioned I could stay with you during community college? Is that offer still open? Absolutely. But I thought you weren't starting until fall? Plans changed. I need to move in sooner. Like, this Wednesday. A pause. Wednesday? That's your birthday. What's going on, Alaya? I explained everything. The years of canceled events, the constant prioritizing of Kayla, and finally, the birthday party. Oh, honey, she sighed. I had no idea it was this bad. Your mom never mentions these things when we talk. She wouldn't. She thinks they're doing the right thing. And you want to move out without telling them? Yes. I know it sounds extreme. No, it doesn't, she interrupted firmly. It sounds like you're setting a necessary boundary. The room is yours whenever you need it. Relief washed over me. Thank you so much. Just promise me one thing. You'll let me be there when you tell them. I don't want you facing that alone. Deal. When I hung up, Tori was staring at me with wide eyes. She said yes? She asked. I nodded, a mixture of excitement and terror coursing through me. It's really happening. For the next 2 days, I quietly packed essentials into bags I hid under my bed. My parents, oblivious to my plans, continued normal life, which meant continuing to coddle Kayla. Tuesday night, my last night at home, we had a small family celebration for my birthday. Mom made my favorite pasta, and Dad brought home a small cake from the grocery store. Kayla sulked at the table, picking at her food. Can I be excused? She asked halfway through dinner. I have a lot of homework. Of course, sweetie, Mom said sympathetically. Do you need help with anything? No, Kayla mumbled, shooting me a quick glance as she left. Once she was gone, Dad pushed a small wrapped box toward me. Happy birthday, kiddo. Inside was a silver charm bracelet with a single charm, the number 18. It's lovely, I said, genuinely touched despite everything. Thank you. We know you're disappointed about Bellinis, Mom began. It's fine, I interrupted, not wanting my last night to end in an argument. Really. We'll make it up to you, Dad promised. Maybe next weekend? I nodded, knowing there wouldn't be a next weekend. At least, not here. Later that night, as I finished packing, there was a soft knock at my door. Kayla stood there, looking younger than her 15 years. Can I come in? She asked, hesitantly. I stepped aside silently. I got you something. She held out a poorly wrapped package. Inside was a framed photo of us from years ago, both smiling on a beach vacation. Thanks, I said, genuinely surprised. I know I mess things up a lot, she said, staring at the floor. I don't mean to. For a moment, I felt a flicker of doubt about my plans. Then I remembered all the birthdays, recitals, and special moments I'd lost. It's not just about the party, Kayla. I know. She met my eyes briefly. I'm sorry, though, about your birthday. Are you? I asked quietly. Because it happens every time? I can't help it sometimes, she whispered. My brain just freaks out. And what about my brain? What about my feelings? She had no answer for that. Good night, Kayla, I said finally. Night. She hesitated at the door. Happy birthday, Alaya. I barely slept that night. At 7:30 a.m., after my parents left for work and Kayla for school, I called Aunt Claire. 20 minutes later, she pulled into our driveway with her SUV. Ready? She asked, helping me carry my bags. As I'll ever be, I replied. I left a letter on my neatly made bed, explaining my decision. Then we drove away from the only home I'd ever known. At Aunt Claire's house, we unpacked my things into her spare bedroom. Around 3:30, my phone exploded with notifications. My parents had found the letter. Alaya, call us immediately, read my mom's text. What are you thinking? Come home now, demanded my dad. I turned to Aunt Claire. They know. She squeezed my hand. Do you want to call them or wait? Wait, just a little longer. At 6 p.m., the doorbell rang. My parents stood on Aunt Claire's porch, faces pale with shock and anger. Kayla hovered behind them, eyes red from crying. What is going on? Mom demanded as they entered. How could you do this? I think we should all sit down, Aunt Claire suggested calmly. No, we're taking our daughter home, Dad said firmly. I'm 18, I reminded them. I decide where home is now. This is ridiculous, Mom sputtered. You're upset about a birthday party, so you run away? It was never about the party, I said, my voice steady. It's about years of being treated like I don't matter. That's not true, Dad protested. Isn't it? Name one important event in my life that wasn't canceled or ruined because of Kayla's feelings. They exchanged glances, unable to answer. I'm not coming home, I continued. I'm staying here, attending community college, and building my own life. You can't just cut us off, Mom said, tears welling. We're your family. I'm not cutting you off. I'm setting boundaries. There's a difference. We can work this out, Dad pleaded. Come home and we'll talk. No, I've tried talking for years. You never listen. Kayla stepped forward, face streaked with tears. This is all my fault. It's not just your fault, I told her. It's all of us, the dynamic we created. But I can't be part of it anymore. Please, Mom whispered. We'll do better. I know you mean that right now, but nothing will change. It never does. We talked for hours, going in circles. They made promises. I expressed doubts. Kayla cried. Mom pleaded. Dad reasoned. But my decision remained firm. In the weeks that followed, my parents tried everything to get me to come home. Guilt, anger, bribes, more promises. Each Sunday, I met them at a neutral location, usually a coffee shop, to talk. How was your first week of classes? Mom asked during one such meeting, 3 weeks after I'd left. Good. I really like my psychology professor. The house feels empty without you, Dad said, stirring his coffee endlessly. How's Kayla? I asked, changing the subject. They exchanged glances. She's struggling, Mom admitted. She blames herself. She's seeing a new therapist, Dad added. Twice a week now. This surprised me. They'd resisted intensive therapy for years, claiming it was too expensive and would make Kayla feel singled out. That's good, I said carefully. We've been doing family sessions too, Mom continued. Without you, it's not really complete, but it's helping, Dad finished, making us see things differently. Like what? I asked, genuinely curious. Like how we've been enabling behaviors that hurt everyone, including Kayla, Mom said quietly. The therapist says we haven't been doing her any favors by shielding her from consequences. Or by sacrificing your needs for hers, Dad added, meeting my eyes directly. The acknowledgement, though late, meant something. I'm glad you're getting help, I said sincerely. Will you consider coming to a session? Mom asked. Just once? I'll think about it, I promised. And I would, though my answer might still be no. As I was leaving, Dad touched my arm. We miss you, Alaya, more than you know. I miss you too, I admitted. But I don't regret my decision. A month later, Tori and Marcus helped me celebrate my rebirthday at Bellini's. The celebration I should have had. Aunt Claire came too, along with other friends and relatives. Notably absent were my parents and Kayla, though they'd been invited. As we finished dinner, the restaurant door opened, and Kayla walked in alone, clutching a small gift bag. "Can I join for a minute?" she asked hesitantly, approaching our table. "Sure," I said, surprising myself. She sat in the empty chair beside me. "I can't stay long. Mom and Dad are waiting in the car." "They came too?" She nodded. "They weren't sure if they should come in. They didn't want to ruin your night." Progress, of a sort. "This is for you," she said, pushing the gift bag toward me. Inside was a journal with "Your story, your rules" embossed on the cover. "My therapist suggested it," she explained, "for writing about your new beginning." "Thank you," I said, genuinely touched. "How are things at home?" "Different. Harder in some ways. Better in others." She fidgeted with her napkin. "I'm learning to deal with my anxiety without making it everyone else's problem." "That's really mature of you," I said, meaning it. "I'm sorry, Alaya, for everything. Not just the birthday." I nodded, acknowledging her apology without necessarily accepting it. Some wounds were still too fresh. "Will you ever move back?" she asked quietly. "No," I answered honestly. "But that doesn't mean we can't have a relationship. It'll just be different now." "I understand," she said, though the hurt was visible in her eyes. "I should go. They're waiting." As she left, I watched through the window as she returned to our parents' car. They drove away, a family of 3 now instead of 4. Later that night, back in my new room at Aunt Claire's, I opened the journal Kayla had given me and began to write. "Hi, I'm Alaya. This is the story of how I lost my family and found myself. It's not the story I thought I'd be telling on my 18th birthday, but it's mine. And for the first time, I'm the one telling it." Was my exit the revenge I'd imagined? Not exactly. There was no dramatic showdown, no public humiliation. Just a quiet departure that forced my family to face the consequences of years of imbalance. But watching their world crumble, their perfect family narrative collapse, as they realized what they'd lost, that was validation enough. The greatest revenge wasn't making them suffer. It was showing them I could thrive without them. And I was just getting started. Have you ever had to walk away from people you loved to save yourself? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments.